Liquid Death started as one guy walking into her office telling her that he's going to create water that looks a bit like beer. And today Liquid Death is worth $1.4 billion. How do you continue to curate these new CPG companies and brands moving forward?
The customers are becoming younger and younger, and they're on different channels, so you got to be where your customer is. Consumers are waking up to the fact that we are being poisoned by these large corporations, and they don't want their kids to be eating the things that are banned in other countries.
Please never underestimate the power you have as an individual. Hello, everybody. How are you guys feeling? Yeah? How did you like the keynote speaker for the afternoon? Fantastic. So I'm here with Desiree, and we are just going to have a wonderful conversation. So Desiree, we know each other. We've been on a few panels before. We've been in the circuit, the entrepreneurial world, connecting through a mutual friend, Dan Fleshman. But Desiree, tell the crowd about you, tell the audience about you, because she has a pretty fascinating backstory.
Sure, excited to. Nice to see you all. Thanks for sticking around. I hope this is on. Okay, good. So my background is I was one of the first people at Shopify. They're a consumer product e-commerce platform that probably powers most brands that you shop from today. I worked there as the number 3 US hire. They're a Canadian company, and then they grew to 12,000 employees while I was there. It was quite the rocket ship to be a part of. It was really exciting to be a part of a startup that grew into a corporate entity, and still have my stocks there today. Highly recommend getting their stock.
A little jealous, who else isn't, right?
And I had the pleasure of meeting so many notable household brands that grew to be $100 million companies. Actually, Liquid Death was in my startup program at Shopify. That was probably 6 years ago, or 17, 18, or 19 is when they started this. I can't remember. And the founder came in our program and was like, I'm going to make a tall boy can of water. And it was a bit out of the norm, but he did amazing with all his marketing tactics. And then I got to meet brands like Natasha through different networking events and friends in our circle. I also am working for Daps Sports, which is a live streaming platform that live streams 24/7 on TikTok, whatnot, and all the live streaming platforms. And we'll be expanding to new verticals, which includes brands and CPG brands like Eat Virgon. So really excited to be in this space.
Oh, that's beautiful. So I hope you guys caught that Liquid Death started as one guy walking into her office telling her that he's going to create water that looks a bit like beer. And today Liquid Death is worth $1.4 billion. Yeah. So it all starts with an idea. Speaking of ideas, like Desiree said, I'm the founder of Eat Virgon. And if you guys were here this morning, you would have heard a bit more about me, but I'm a 3rd-generation chef, a high-performance nutritionist. And my focus with my private chefing and nutrition is the top 1%, but I believe health and wellness should be accessible to everybody. So that's why Eat Virgon exists. It's a consumer packaged goods company that's focused on preventative health and wellness through high performance, on-the-go power snacks and meal replacements. And the reason why I created Eat Virgon is because, long story short, because I know everybody's been talking today for way too long, or maybe some of them not long enough, but in 2008, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. We didn't know anything about cancer in the family, so she did what the hospital suggested and almost died twice, once from the chemotherapy and then again with the radiotherapy. They wanted me to do a genetic test, and if I was positive, they were going to cut off my breasts. And I just woke up the next day thinking, is today the day you get cancer? And I was like, yeah, nah. I don't want to do this blood test. I don't want to let them mutilate my body. And that's when I went down the rabbit hole to learn about what causes breast cancer, how can I help my mom heal, and if there's a way, how do I prevent myself from getting it in the first place? So that's the genesis of Eat Virgin, because that led me to a whole food plant-based lifestyle. Chronic lifestyle cancers and diseases kill over 7 out of 10 people in this country, which is 70%. It's a pretty high number. And the food that we eat will either heal us or hurt us. So I rather focus on prevention than pay for the cure. But you told me that you are now the new CMO of DAPS. So coming from Shopify and having your own brands in between, what do you bring to DAPS, and how do you continue to curate these new CPG companies and brands moving forward?
That's a great question. I would say there's tons of opportunity right now for live streaming, live shopping. It's I think, $600 billion industry in China, and in the US, I think it's only 20 million, don't quote me, but there's a great opportunity now for brands to live shop, live stream, and become the face of their brand, their stories as well, or using affiliates or hosts to sell their products. So I'm excited for DAPS expanding into new verticals, which includes apparel, healthcare, CPG brands, and kind of revolutionizing the way that we shop in an omni-channel type of environment, which is always expanding and being where your customers are. And the customers are becoming younger and younger, and they're on different channels. So you got to be where your customer is.
So I have a question. We're transitioning from an era, somebody was talking about kind of like pre-World War II versus post-World War II and the industrial era. We came from an era initially of like homemakers, homesteaders, you grow what you eat what you kill, and then world wars happened and we had to figure out how to feed lots of people on the go very quickly. Manufacturing happened, machineries, were innovated, and then this fast food era, this can era, the middle section of the grocery store happened. So we went from the homestead to corporations feeding us, now to the influencer era. So do you feel like consumers, younger or at any age, do you think consumers want to buy from corporations and logos, or do they want to buy from people that they identify with?
I would say we're definitely shifting right now to people we identify with. I mean, the whole Kellogg's thing that's going on right now is showing us how consumers want to make the choices of what goes in their body.
Wait, so do you guys know about what's happening with Kellogg's? Anybody? Yes? Do you want to just in a couple of moments, just tell us what's happening right now?
I would say that, consumers are waking up to the fact that we are being poisoned by these large corporations, and they don't want their kids to be eating the things that are banned in other countries. So they are using their voice to make changes now in the US to hopefully get us some better ingredients and not poison our kids and make them have ADD and all the things that happen when you consume products that are not to be consumed by humans.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I'm learning about Kellogg's right now. I am always Captain Obvious, and I'll never lie about what I don't know. But what I do know about Kellogg's, which is the reason why I never really wanted to support them or put their foods in my body, is because Dr. Kellogg, way back when in America, he was the individual that actually commercialized American circumcision for boys and girls, and carbonic acid being thrown on young women and young girls didn't quite take off as much as the male circumcision. But when you actually research the founder behind a company, and if you don't agree with their ideals, what I did is I decided to vote with my dollar and not buy Kellogg products. Mm-hmm. So, I love that consumers today are actually looking at the data, and they're looking at what this value system is and saying, does this align with me or does it not? And if it doesn't align with me, I'm not investing in it. So I know there's a lot of investors that have been coming through today and yesterday and throughout the entire week, but you guys as whether you're your own small company or a large company, or you're an employee or a top 2 or top 3 hire, or you're just, the average person, you are an investor, because every time you go out into a grocery store, you're investing in that brand that you're purchasing. Or every time you go buy a car, or every time you go buy a software or watch a movie, you're investing in that ideal that you're purchasing. So please never underestimate the power you have as an individual.
Very true. Well said.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. So what do you think is the missed opportunity in the CPG world? That's a question I'd love to ask you. And also, I know there's been some controversy with your brand as well, Eat Virgin, and I'd love that as my second question to you.
Okay, so there's been so much focus on AI and all these modern, amazing technologies that are driving our society forward. And, I know we had a speaker saying how AI is going to take our jobs. Me personally, I don't believe that AI is going to take our jobs. I heard somebody once say that people who learn how to use AI will take our jobs, not the AI. So that feels a lot more empowering, because we are all in a position to learn and grow. But for me, the focus is, and I think it's also a missed opportunity, is in this preventative health and wellness era, because how healthy are we if we're dependent on high blood pressure medication, high cholesterol medication, if we're taking diabetes medication, or we're going to get, our dialysis done once a week or once every 2 weeks, or we have to go get a bypass surgery or quadruple bypass surgery, or going for cancer treatment or have mental illness. We're not going to be very healthy. We're not going to have autonomy over ourselves and our mind, and we're not going to be able to put our life effort into things that we are designed to build as human beings, as innate human beings. And so the opportunity that I see coming in the CPG space is personal health care and personal wellness around that prevention. So even with Eat Virgin, each serving that we provide has 17 to 24 vitamins and minerals, because with those vitamins and minerals coming from whole organic ingredients, it's helping us become healthier and stronger, and it's feeding our mind, it's feeding our organs, it's repairing our bones, it's repairing our brains, and it's putting us in a healthier position. And I feel like the more people have personal experiences, like my friend's mother just died of a heart attack. My grandmother just died because her kidneys gave, not my grandmother, sorry, my great auntie, who was like my grandmother, she passed away because her kidneys gave out. So we all have these stories that are going to be hitting us more and more, especially the older we get and the older our family gets and our network gets. We're going to be seeing people dropping dead, unfortunately, by things that are 100% preventable. So the consumer that's going to be left is the consumer that's going to be like, I don't want to die from something I can avoid or prevent. So what do I have to pay to be strong and healthy? And that's what I feel is the strongest space in the CPG area, and also products, again, prevention, health and wellness around women care, and focusing on the female body, because the medical industry has been built, and all these clinical trials and studies have been built around the average Caucasian male, but 50% of the population is female, 70, 80% of the population are people of color, and we all as a collective deserve quality healthcare and quality wellness and quality products. And we are a growing market, so give us something to spend our money on, right?
Yeah, and I agree. You are on top of the trend. You've looked to the future to see what is important to that consumer and created a brand around it. But you also incorporated a very influential partner. And yes. I think that also is a great way of influencing future trends and viral, I don't even know how to say it.
Virality?
Yeah, virality. And so you've done all those things, and I would love to learn more about like why you did that, and then also, kind of what you encountered that was a bit controversial.
Yes, she did ask this question, right? So one of our co-founders that we brought into the company, he was the most viewed male artist on TikTok last year. His name's NLE Chopper, and he's a 21-year-old hip-hop artist who happens to be vegan and very focused on his health and well-being. And he's probably one of the only artists that you'll catch giving away CMOS at his concerts with a vegan food truck or talking on TMZ about water fasting on raw food diets. But even with Eat Virgin and the startup phase that we're at, we're taking meetings with marketing companies, we're taking meetings with grocery chains, and then they go to our website or they do some research and they find out that he's a part of the company, and they see a young, let me call it as it is, right? They see a young black man with tattoos all over his body, a bunch of chains around his neck, and then they turn around and tell my partner, who happens to be African-American, Dutch Jewish, so yeah, I got a black man and a brown woman owning this company. Tell me how many more, strikes against our names we should have, but here we are. And they're telling us that, don't you think NLE Chopper would be better off selling alcohol or maybe a vape pen? It seemed like suitable to be selling a health food product like the Eat Virgin bar or anything else you guys make. To which I have to reply, well, firstly, he doesn't drink alcohol. Secondly, he's vegan. And thirdly, he cares about his health and he doesn't want his community who's following him around the world to be sick. So you're wrong. And, without naming grocery chains, we also heard this from a national grocery chain, to which I had to demand to speak to their boss. And when the director of grocery came into the meeting, I told them what happened. And lo and behold, we now have a national contract with them because they realize how ludicrous this is. And, ultimately the lesson in that is be impeccable. Be impeccable with whatever you create, whether it's CPG products or whatever kind of technology you create. So when they come and try to personally attack you or what your belief system is, you squash them on their value system. And that's probably a personal joy of mine because I like to make sure we check all the boxes. But yeah, use the controversy, use that, and don't let that stereotype put you in a box, because you have taken the time to put in the due diligence to create something that is phenomenal and undeniable. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, for sure. And it was really great to see that a local university here opened a vegan restaurant on campus.
Oh, who?
I think, wasn't it the one you took my kids to when NLE Chopper was there?
Yes. Yeah. So Hot House.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. We actually did an activation at Kevin Hart's restaurant, Hot House, at USC.
Yes,
USC. Yeah. So yeah, the movement is definitely growing, and what else can I say about that?
I would say, what else are you doing to stay ahead of the trend for your brand? I mean, you've checked a lot of boxes, but what else do you think is some consumer product trends that you see coming? And do you want to live stream your brand and do live shopping?
Yeah, we haven't incorporated live shopping yet. I would probably say, in terms of looking at what's happening in the market, that personalization that I was telling you about is becoming more and more important. So I feel like adding, whether it's like an app component or some kind of like personalized component to be able to track and help people monitor their health and wellness moving forward so they can customize their own products, whether it's with Eat Virgin or any other aspect of their life, might be an opportunity for us in the future. Mm-hmm. So me as a nutritionist, I work one-on-one with clients, and the very first thing I do before feeding them or recommending anything is we draw blood. So we look at the micronutrient test, which tests vitamins from A through to K2. We do a total baseline test to see what's happening in their blood, how much plaque, cholesterol, how their thyroid, how their hormones are behaving, how their organs are behaving, how long is inflammation staying in the body, do they have inflammation? And we're looking at all of these biomarkers, right? There's a lady back there, she spoke earlier, her nickname's Data Points, but we're looking at all these data points to see, okay, what do you need to be your optimized self? So, my dream would be to, how do we take what we do physically one-on-one with our nutrition clients and put that into something that we can provide universally to everybody that's financially accessible, so they can have that same kind of healthcare as an NBA player or a media mogul or a celebrity might have.
I love that. And I love that you're pushing this positive agenda on health and using all of the opportunities to share it with different trends. And
Thank you.
if you'll notice, her logo is up on the big screen and a box of her product is right behind her. You should definitely try it. It's called Eat Virgin. And thank you all so much for having us.
Yes, thank you very much.